Mike, Mark, Beer, Tari, Cummings. But nah. By the way, this is off. Hopefully that's okay. Oh, good. Good Lord. Okay, I'm looking. Women basketball. Yeah. Stat broadcast. Did this actually work?
Smith, Andrew Stossmeister joined now with Coach Jason Martins. Happy New Year to you. Arena ahead of St. Welcome back to Bill Greehey. Welcome back to
Gower.
3, 2, and 1.
Gower? I don't know what that is. Okay. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Let's find out. 4 and 7. So many things, guys. I don't even know. Wow. That's a fancy RoboCam. Should have bubble. Come on. Hey, I am not a Jumbotron kind of guy, just FYI. So we could turn that off. Just kidding.
No? I don't hear anything. The headsets that were there, did you plug in yours? No, I haven't. I don't have one.
That's why I was like, ah, there's nothing. Did you have the wrong box? First pregame. Everybody playing tonight. Yeah, nothing there. Nothing there.
We just made a song and I'm rapping about other girls.
Int, nope.
and good evening. Welcome out to Bill Greehey Arena. Glad to be with you here tonight. Happy New Year to you, and welcome to the next decade of 2020. Tonight, the St. Mary's Rattlers welcome in Arkansas, Fort Smith. It's the league season the rest of the way. Everybody's really excited about it. 18 teams. How do they duke it out? We're going to find out starting here tonight. Visiting in from Fort Smith, this UAFS team, pretty good. Certainly on the women's side, the record doesn't show it. 4-7 overall. They're 1-4 in league play. We're looking to see if they can top things off here tonight. St. Mary's, big win for them before break. They went out to Austin and beat their rival St. Ed's in Battle of the Saints. They are 3-6. Jason Martin's in his 14th season, looking for some good things to be able to happen. Rattlers, Lions, they've met each other several times in the last 10 years since UAFS became a Division II program. They battle for the first time as members of the Lone Star Conference. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to catch up with the head coach of the Rattlers, Jason Martins, get his thoughts on returning from break and trying to get things started off right in 2020. Rattlers and Lions coming up. This is Rattler Basketball on the Lone Star Conference Network.
Know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves. Our vision, our heart, our drive to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
A strong tradition of academic excellence, a commitment to community, and a rich history of athletic success, the Lone Star Conference has long been known as a leader in intercollegiate athletics. Now with 19 institutions that embody the best in college sports, the Lone Star Conference is the largest and most dynamic conference in NCAA Division II. 19 members strong, 19 members proud. This is the new Lone Star Conference.
We've been
Welcome back to Bill Greehey Arena ahead of St. Mary's and Arkansas Fort Smith. Andrew Stossmeister joined now with Coach Jason Martins. Happy New Year to you, buddy.
Happy New Year.
It's good to see you, and I know everybody's excited to be back on the basketball court. You have that kind of dead period to kind of reflect a little bit, but also now gear up for this, last part of the conference season.
Yeah, no, it was good for everybody to get away. Most of our girls got a chance to go home, see family, and just take some time off, and that's what it's meant for. And we had 8 days off, and all of them got a chance to get away and debrief, and now we're back at it.
Yeah, it's super big to be able to have that, not to mention, big win right there before break against St. Ed's.
Yeah, that's a great way to go into Christmas break. Our girls play extremely well and finally played 40 minutes of basketball, which we hadn't been able to do first, 8 games of the year, so it feels good to get that out of the way.
We talk about it so much, trying to put together that whole game, and, you played some really good teams, I think, the first 9 games, and saw what's possible, but to finally put that together, does that give you guys more confidence as you start here in January?
I hope it does. I mean, we had 8 days to reflect on it over Christmas break. The girls were excited after the game, and so hopefully that, develops some confidence and get ready to go for the second half.
Talking with Jason Martins ahead of Fort Smith and St. Mary's, and now you look back and you say, okay, all right, we're going to see a team we've seen before. They're not in our pod, but how do you kind of analyze these Lone Star games with teams that are not in your pod?
I mean, you treat them like, they're in your pod because they count towards the conference standings. So you have to, take care of business at home. And we talk about that all the time. Like in the conference season, you win, take care of business at home and steal some on the road. Unfortunately, we haven't done that so far. So we need to get that done today.
You got the leading scorer on your team, it's Taria Banks, and we've talked about her all season long, how good she's been. But, trying to get other people going with her, that's been what it seems like to be key.
Yeah, it is. When we get a second or third player going, I mean, we've been pretty good. It's just those games where it's just so and nobody else, we tend to struggle. And so hopefully we can get a couple people going tonight and go from there.
Trying to get those freshmen going as well. I know that's been important. You kind of had their first 9 games to try to feel it out. Now you have to say, hey, you need to grow up a little bit faster right now.
Exactly. Freshmen, they're still learning, but after 9 games and a full semester, you hope that once we get to this Christmas break, they get a chance to settle in and start playing like they're capable of playing.
Let's talk about Fort Smith a little bit. This is a team that's kind of hard to read. Defensively they've been pretty good, but on offense they've struggled at times.
Yeah, they're extremely athletic, and I think their offense, really relies on their defense. When they're able to force turnovers and get some easy baskets in transition, they're really good. I think they've struggled a little bit in the half-court set so far this year, but very talented, very athletic. We're gonna have to be ready to play today.
We always talk about those first couple of minutes. Any more emphasis knowing that there's been a little bit of a gap for both teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, which team can, knock off the rust the quickest. And, we've had 3 good days of practice, so hopefully, that comes into play. And, in fact that they had to travel 10 hours yesterday, hopefully that helps us.
There you go, Coach. Appreciate the time. Good luck today.
All right, thank you.
Head coach Jason Martins of the St. Mary's Rattlers. We'll take a break. More coming up next here on the Lone Star Conference Network. And we welcome you out to San Antonio. Glad to be with you here tonight from Buddy and Anna Meyer Court as the Rattlers return to action. They take on Arkansas Fort Smith. Starting lineup's getting a chance to be introduced right now here at Bill Greehey Arena. Welcome to 2020 here in Division II basketball from the Lone Star Conference. The visitors from Arkansas, Fort Smith, 4-7 overall. Terry Cummings in her second season, returning home to coach where she played basketball at the end of the 90s, trying to build the program. The Rattlers on the other side, what can they do? They picked up a nice win right before break against their longtime rival, the St. Edwards Hilltoppers, 3-6 under Jason Martin's team. Starters being introduced for St. Mary's. It'll be a similar lineup. Alexia Torres. We'll see Soteria Banks, the Lone Star Conference's leading scorer. We'll see Hannah Wilson, Sydney Hardiman, and Maya Culliver tonight here for St. Mary's. They'll be in the whites for the Lions at 4-7. Their lineup is similar to what it's been the last few games. Alexis Brown, Hannah Boyett, Deshelle Terry, Tamara Gully, and Marshalia Lawley will be out there as well. It's been a mix and match kind of lineup for Coach Cummings and the Lions this season. You look at their group, 8 different players have started at least 5 games this season, so that's a tough go for them. But they like where they're at, and Coach Cummings, as did Coach Martin, said ahead of this one, I'm just happy to be back to play basketball. It's been a nice long break, maybe even a little too long. Ready to go for tip. Jennifer White is our head referee. Mark Veer, the first umpire. Rick Gower is the second umpire here tonight. From San Antonio, here we go. Wilson in the center circle, jumps against Gully, who wins it. Fort Smith will come with it first. They go left to our right. Arkansas Fort Smith averaging 58 points per game this season. At times they have been challenged. It has been baptism by fire, according to their head coach, Tari Cummings. 15 to shoot. As the ball worked up top by Brown, she's a returner from a year ago. 4 players are back from this group last season. 8 to shoot. Around the arc left, Alexis Brown drives, kicks it back up, top of the key for 3. Boy, it is up, and it is good. That is her 16th 3 of the season, team leading. And it's a 3-0 start for the Lions out of Arkansas Fort Smith. Little trapping pressure near midcourt. We'll see that a lot. That's what the Lions used to do when Coach Cummings was playing. Now, when she was a player at Fort Smith, not at the Division II level, but they had a lot of success while she played. In fact, her career is so good, she went on to Oklahoma State, had a couple of nice years there for the Cowgirls. 3-pointer by Hardiman, rims up and out, rebound underneath, one by brought in by Tamara Gully. At the 1-minute mark of quarter number 1, 3-0 Fort Smith. Good entry pass inside the finish. Marshala Lally, the Kilgore, Texas product, scores 5-0. Arkansas Fort Smith as Torres handling some pressure. Again, you talk about it, both teams, 10 days just about off. A lot of players got a chance to go home for the holidays. That was a great thing for them. Second shot of the game comes off the left side. That time, that was a little bit rushed from Mackenzie Piper, who's out in the starting lineup. Mackenzie actually is out there instead of Sydney Hardiman initially. But Coach Martin's already making a couple of changes. to his lineup for tonight's game. Down 5-0, Fort Smith with it on the baseline. They swing it around to the right side. Another three-point try. Boyett shoots, misses. Wilson the rebound. And St. Mary's away with it. 1:50 into this opening quarter. It's 5-0 Arkansas. Fort Smith, they're 4-7 on the season. St. Mary's 3-6. Divisional pod workings, we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Hardiman around to Soteria Banks, the leading scorer in the Lone Star Conference, averaging 21 points a game. Drives, her shot is up and is rejected away. Fort Smith takes over. Good help side defense that time by the senior Tamara Gali. Out to the right wing for a three. Terry rims it up and in. And the Lions with a hot start, 8-0. Here to start this one from San Antonio in the first 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Torres with token pressure to midcourt, gets trapped, spins it out to the redshirt freshman Sydney Hardiman and back to Soteria Banks. Trying to get Zero involved, and she travels, and Coach Martin saying, hey, how fast does it take us to knock off the rust? It looks like it has taken 2.5 minutes, maybe a little bit more here in the return home to start off 2020. These two ties meeting for the 23rd time. The meetings are split right down the middle. There were 3 matchups a year ago. St. Mary's won 2 of them, including ending the Fort Smith season in Tulsa at the Heartland Conference Tournament. 7:15 to play. It's 8-0 Arkansas Fort Smith. Top of the key with Gully. She's hit a couple of threes already in this one. 10 on the shot clock. Terry with it, looking to work it inside. Little high-low game, and that's traveling. Too many steps taken by Deshelle Terry. The Springdale, Arkansas native turns it over. This is a team that's averaged 24 turnovers per game, have the Lions. Up and down, talking with Coach Cummings, and she said, come on, we got to figure this thing out with her group. It was nice to have that break, but this is the meat of the conference schedule. We have got to be better. She feels like she's got a lot of talent and a chance to do some damage in the league this season. Torres, good crossover move. Kicks it back out. Hardiman is open. Three-pointers up. Too strong. Rebound. Battle for underneath. It's won by Mackenzie Piper, but she had it stripped away from behind. Fort Smith takes over. 6:38 to play. Up 8 are the Lions as we get a foul on St. Mary's trying to get underneath. That time just got out of position, got beat, heading the other direction. And, you know, again, you look at it, the NCAA has that mandatory period. You got to have the dead time. Starts right around the 22nd. Usually have to take the whole week off to get things back in, ready to go. And right now the Rattlers, a little bit of rust. Good start for Fort Smith. 9 in a row out of the gates. They have hit 3 of their first 4 shots, while St. Mary's is 0 for 4 from the floor. Second free throw from Terry is on its way. The left-hander coaxes it in. That's 10 in a row for the visitors who traveled 10 hours to get to San Antonio. Hardiman across court. St. Mary's in the white jerseys, the navies today. For Arkansas, Fort Smith, Torres down the lane, gives it back out. Soteria Banks, crossover for 2 is up. It is off the front of the iron. She misses. 2 misses for Soteria Banks to start this game. Fort Smith down court with Alexis Brown. Brown at the top of the key, gets a screen, pulls over the foul line. Well covered, good rotation that time by St. Mary's. Quick 3 is forced that time. Won't go, and the Rattlers have the board underneath with Mackenzie Piper, the 5'10 freshman, getting her second start of the season. 4 minutes in, Rattlers have not scored as that one turned over by Piper. Brown running hard the other way, circles it back around and waits for her teammates. Back up top, good extra pass to the right block. Shot is up, it is good. Count it and a foul. Marshala Lally, the Kilgore, Texas native, scores. She's got 4. 12-0 Arkansas Fort Smith. Jason Martins has to call timeout. His group is sluggish here in the first 4 minutes and 14 seconds. We'll take a 30-second timeout. Fort Smith leading by 12. This is Rattler basketball on the Lone Star Conference Network.
We've been around for a while, and we know how to build a fresher pizza. A real pizza, one made with real fresh and real flavor. A pizza made with different toppings and the unique taste from our culture. And of course, a commitment to better, fresher dough and ingredients. We built a pizza culture where you can fill up on flavor without emptying your wallet. A culture that is quickly becoming the flavor of the neighborhood. Real fresh, real flavor. That's Pizza Patron.
.546 to play in the first quarter. You can look at it one of 2 ways. Arkansas Fort Smith, a lot of credit. Great start for them. They're 4-6 from the field. They've hit 2 threes in this game. St. Mary's is 0 for 5 with 3 turnovers. And Jason Martin's having to call his first timeout. Not pleased at what he saw to start this game. Today's game is presented by Raising Cane's, the official chicken finger of Rattler Athletics. Treat yourself after the game by heading to their restaurant located at 7020 Bandera Road in Leon Valley. Andrew Stossmeister tonight from Buddy and Anna Meyer Court inside Bill Greehey Arena in San Antonio, Texas. 12 in a row right now for the visiting Arkansas Fort Smith Lions. It's been a while since they won here in San Antonio. Good start for them here tonight, though. As the first free throw does not go that time, and the Rattlers try to push. They got some words from their head coach about trying to pick up their energy level. Just wasn't good enough. Again, 3 days or so of practice. You know, and again, you talk about it, everybody's in that same boat where you haven't gotten a ton of practice, but it's who could turn it on and flip the switch a little bit. Alexia Torres with it right now, looking for Wilson, gets it down outside the left box. The 6'3" junior out of Fredericksburg, Texas, goes strong with the left hand. The shot is good. Count it, and a foul. And Wilson has St. Mary's out of the board 4 minutes and 35 seconds into this opening quarter. Well, Hannah, I thought, had one of her best games as a Rattler right before break in Austin. Played very well out there. Got to the double-double range, something she just hadn't been able to quite do. As the free throw rims up and out, no good, but a lane violation is called. Bella Hughes, good effort underneath, even got around, even though they called the violation on the player next to her, number 22, Tamara Gully. One more chance for Hannah Wilson. 50% this season from the line. She makes do of the extra free throw and makes it a 9-point game. 5:23 to play. Arkansas Fort Smith, not a great three-point shooting team in their first 11 games before break. They have hit 2 already here in this game. They work it around the arc. And back inside, Gully, extra pass is deflected. Wilson trying to wrestle it away, and it's tied up. Jump ball, says Jennifer White, the head referee. Alternating possession in favor of St. Mary's. They'll steal one back, and see a little bit of fire right now from Jason Martin's group here in this last minute since they call the timeout. Torres, Banks, Bella Hughes, Hannah Wilson, and Sydney Hardiman in white as Banks is trapped and then fouled. And head coach Terry Cummings kind of looking on and she's going, wait a minute. She didn't agree with that call. That's team foul number 2 as it would sit. Gully will absorb her first personal foul of the game. As the Rattlers trying to get in the flow of things. They missed their first 5 shots, but they make their last. Soteria Banks opening this game 0 for 2. The team's leading scorer. That's some of the best marks in league play so far this season. Hughes with 5, drives baseline right, drops the ball up perfectly to Hannah Wilson. Whether it was meant to be or not, doesn't matter. It goes in as a 2 in the books. And the Rattlers with back-to-back buckets after falling behind 12-0. Boyett gives it up top to Alexis Brown, the senior out of Little Rock, Arkansas. Pretty good player for this group a year ago, and get a foul call on the deck, it looks like, as Alexis Brown lost the ball and then tried to hang on right in of St. Mary's. Good job by the Rattlers forcing some pressure on the basketball. Turnover number 3. 4:19 to play. We're in the first quarter. It's 12-5. 12 in a row at Arkansas. Fort Smith hit a couple of threes, really pressured St. Mary's, who came out a little bit flat as Wilson's 2 won't go inside the lane. Rebound by Fort Smith's Tamara Gully, the senior, getting some minutes. Seeing an older group right now for Coach Cummings. She knows a lot of young players are on the bench, and those have honestly been some talented players seeing time this season, just waiting for their first minutes of the decade. 10 to shoot up top, a great lob down low to Gully. She goes to her left, but as she spun over, Wilson grabbed her, and we get tied up. Alternating possession this time in favor of Fort Smith as Jason Martin's heading to the bench. He'll grab Jessica Barbosa. Barbosa comes in for Hannah Wilson. It looks like, and now actually Wilson stays out. Hardiman goes out. 7 on the shot clock. Left of the hoop inbounds. Open shooter. Deshelle Terry fires, misses. Wilson hits the deck and grabs the basketball and gets tied up. And the Rattlers will have possession by way of the possession arrow. 12-5 with 3:38 to play. Fans, stop by one of the 5 conveniently located Jason's Deli restaurants for a fresh, affordable meal anytime. Don't forget about free ice cream. Jason's Deli, happy to fulfill any and all catering needs with as little as same-day notice. Jason's Deli, the official sandwich of Rattler Athletics. Banks trapped at midcourt, and a jump ball is called right in front of us. And the Rattlers will give it back. Fort Smith doing a good job setting up their double team right at midcourt. It has given St. Mary's trouble in the first 6.5 minutes of this game. 12-5, Arkansas Fort Smith, 12 in a row. Rattlers with 5 in a row. Open shooter, left elbow, Gully fires, won't get it to go. Soteria Banks the rebound for St. Mary's. She's a good rebounder, has had more of them, especially when her points have not come immediately. That's why she's so good. The junior out of Round Rock, Texas. Bella Hughes with it, drives to the corner right, bounces it on the baseline. Difficult pass, it rolls its way around, back to Banks. Left wing for 3, won't go, and a nice job by the rebounding Marshala Lally underneath for Arkansas Fort Smith. Got positioning to take that ball away as Barbosa steps in front of the lane of Lally at the other end and then takes it back. And as she tried to spin it and pass, gave it right away. So both teams with not the best of possessions. 12-5 our score. Arkansas Fort Smith has lost 4 in a row coming in. Talk to both coaches about you look back at that, December 19th, December 20th game. How much does that mean right now? And both of them said, not much. I mean, it was there. It counts. But at the same time, you just don't take a lot away from that. Good lob underneath. And the finish, Lally scores. She's got 6, team's leading scorer. And the first points for Arkansas Fort Smith in some time, almost 3 minutes. Torres and St. Mary's down 9. 2:25 to play, quarter number 1. Torres shuffles to her left block, gets it underneath to Wilson. The left-handed skyhook is up and in. That's 7 out there for Hannah Wilson. Good start for the junior out of Fredericksburg, Texas. Drive right side by Eden. Shot won't go. Loose ball, and Wilson brings it in. Hannah Wilson picking up right where she left off to finish off 2019. Torres with it. Curls around Fort Smith, trying to again get it into Wilson. A 6'3 junior bounces it out, looking for Banks. Again, trying to get 0 involved. She has not gotten started yet. As Soteria is called, as she tried to create some space to her left. Ashanti Eden, the freshman out of Slidell, Louisiana, who has had a great start to her young career under Coach Cummings. Picks up her first foul. Team's 4th. Rattlers, though, doubled up right now, trying to work their way back in. They fell down 12-0. Bella Hughes will chase down the rebound, and Maya Culliver now getting her first minutes of the game. Maya so often a year ago came off the bench. Older player, you wonder if she starts more as Hughes' 3 contested. And Fort Smith, the rebound underneath. Good job by the Lions. They have boxed out well. Lally with another rebound in this first quarter. 95 seconds to play, and that's going to be a carry. Eden can't do that. And it's one of those freshmen, those moments where you got to understand you might get away with that in high school. It doesn't carry over at this level. We talked about it. The Lions have lost 4 in a row. Rattlers, big win right before break. They beat St. Ed 75-70. Soteria Banks had a 26-point effort in that victory. Also, I thought a real big game out there as well from Hannah Wilson, 16-10. She's already got 7 points, 3 rebounds here in this first quarter. She gets her first rest of the game as she comes out, and Briley Perkins, the freshman out of Houston, checking in, and a foul is called before Briley was able to find it over to Jessica Barbosa, who catches the pass and picks up the 15th foul for Arkansas Fort Smith. Foul is called on Marshala Lally. And so it'll be 2 shots automatically right here for Barbosa. Just her 3rd free throw of the season attempted, and she misses it. She's 1 of 3. Rattlers really trying to get better. Talking to Coach Martins, he's always talking free throws, always talking little things of the game, but particularly that has to be improved in this league season if St. Mary's is to accomplish the goals they have set out for themselves. 1:02 to play here in quarter number 1. 14-7, Arkansas Fort Smith. They've led by as many as 12. Alexis Brown, the senior, with it, working on the freshman Bella Hughes. Play it around to the right side. Boyett's hit a couple of threes. Back out to Brown. 6 to shoot. Top of the key. Boyett hits the bottom of the net. Nothing else. Did not go through. And St. Mary's will take over. Barbosa credited with that rebound. Rattlers are 3 of 11 to open this game. All their points coming from Hannah Wilson, who's on the bench. Soteria Banks looking for her first 2 of the night. Can't get it to go. Rebound ricochets off the back of the backboard. And Fort Smith takes over. Alexis Brown has got it. 34 seconds on the clock. Looks back around, and that's coming to us. That'll be out of bounds. Turnover. Turnover number 6 on Arkansas Fort Smith. And again, that's one of those things that you look at it with Coach Cummings and this group. They have had their moments of just stretches of real great play, and other times just like that where you think someone's there and they're not. Turnover number 6. 18 seconds left. St. Mary's takes over. Shot clock is off. Maya Culliver orchestrating the offense to Barbosa. Throws it to Hughes, who was not open. And the Rattlers that time, again, just forcing it underneath, hoping somebody will be at that spot. And those are those things that, again, you hope that gets a little bit better. It hasn't been that way for St. Mary's in their first 9 games. But, again, 11 days will do wonders to you when you have that break. 8 seconds left, quarter number 1. Brown hustles across midcourt. Stops to her right. Gives it back out wide. Boyett for 3 as this quarter expires. Scores. She'll finish with 6, and it's 17-7. Arkansas Fort Smith after 10 minutes of action from Bill Greehey Arena. We'll take a 60-second timeout. Quarter number 2 coming up next from San Antonio. 15-7. Arkansas Fort Smith leading St. Mary's on the Lone Star Conference Network.
Scams, corruption.
Back in San Antonio, 10 minutes are done. 17-7. Good start for Arkansas Fort Smith. Andrew Stausmeister back here at Bill Greehey Arena. Rattlers give up 12 in a row. They were out-hustled in the first 4.5 minutes of this game. They have tried to play catch-up since the beginning of this one. Arkansas Fort Smith coming in with 4 straight losses. They are 4-7. St. Mary's 3-6, but picked up a nice victory before break. See how quarter number 2 goes here of this 2020 campaign start. Alexia Torres, Hannah Wilson, who's got all 7 Rattler points back in, along with Audrey Wanji, who gets her first minute, Sydney Hardiman, and also Briley Perkins. Hardiman, who's had some nice moments this season, the redshirt freshman out of Allen, Texas, gives it up to Perkins. Back to Torres, wide open 3. That's an air ball, but that's punched out of bounds, and it's off of Fort Smith. I don't think Tamara Gully was expecting that to come at her at that quick of an angle, and it has since slowed up and gotten itself back together. 17-7, Rattlers will keep it. Again, a difficult start for them. 3 of 13, make it 3 of 14 from the field is Wilson. Good job using that 6'3" length, boxed out that time to Shell Terry. And a foul is called on Arkansas Fort Smith. They fouled 6 times in that first quarter. And again, outside of their turnovers, really have controlled this first 10.5 minutes of game action. Rattlers will have an inbounds on the baseline. Sydney Hardiman with it. Gives it into Wilson. The 6'3" junior slides back out to Hardiman for 3. Air ball and out of bounds. Wanji, good effort underneath, but Rattlers right now from downtown just not finding it. They're 0 of 6, and you can tell just rushing it a little bit. Look a little bit just off kilter. That happens. Again, still trying to get everything going. 3 days of practice for both teams. Difference is Arkansas Fort Smith had to travel 10 hours to get here. Good pass out to Terry. Rims it up and out. Offensive rebound for Fort Smith. Rebounds even right now at 11 between the two teams. 11 minutes into the second half, and that is either an illegal screen or travel. It's a traveling call on Alexis Brown, who's looking back in disbelief at one of the officials. Doesn't like what she saw, but it was the correct call as Brown will sub out. Replaced out there on the court is Terry comes in to take her place. Also gets some minutes from Leilani Cully, who was in foul trouble early in this game, back out there. Torres pointing out instructions. Soteria Banks is 0 of 4 to start this game, the leading scorer for the Rattlers. Audrey Wanji hands it off to Banks, working on the right side. Down the lane, leans in, and there's contact and a foul. Good job by Soteria to work her way inside. You know, she's such a talented shooter. And as all good coaches will say, sometimes you're going to struggle a little bit. How can you still stay involved? And the best way to do that, get to the foul line. Soteria did a great job against St. Ed's when she accomplished that feat. She went to the line 10 times and made 11 free throws. She has her first points of the new year. One more coming at the line. The junior out of Round Rock hits 2. And the Rattlers down 8. 8:35 to play here in this first half. Arkansas Fort Smith opened the game on a 12-0 run. Rattlers scored 5 in a row, even just about since then. Corner left with Ashante Eden down the lane. A lot of steps, and is there a foul? Oh, man, they do get a foul as Coach Martins is looking in there. That was a good job by the freshman. And, again, you look at this one of two ways. If you're Fort Smith, good drive. You like the move by your freshman, going in, see if you can get the call, get some contact. There certainly was, but how much you have to worry about as well as the free throw is good. Ashante Eden, freshman out of Slidell, Louisiana. One of the best free throw shooters in the league in the young part of the season. Both are good. 10-point game. Largest lead has been 12. Arkansas Fort Smith trapped for the first 8 minutes of the game. Gave St. Mary's all kind of trouble with it. They have since pulled it off as the senior Torres back to Soteria Banks. Soteria looking for that step back, nothing available, and Fort Smith is holding true to that 2-3 zone as Hardiman creates some traffic underneath. Hannah Wilson fights for the rebound and pushes it back up and in. It won't go, but a foul is called. And Hannah Wilson to the line for 2 shots. Good job by 41 in white, working hard. And again, you know, I think we've talked about it already a lot this season. And this is game 10, but 41's got to be good if St. Mary's wants to be as good as they feel they can be in Lone Star Conference play. She's a good post player. She's got good moves. Got to trust her abilities. And for the first time in a while, Hannah does not have that left knee all taped up. So feeling some confidence right there as she is the beneficiary of another lane violation. We'll get a chance at one more shot. Took advantage of this earlier. She does so right here. Hannah Wilson has a good start to this game. She's got 8. 9-point game. Rattlers still trying to get everybody else involved. They are 3 of 17 to start this game. As a straight-on 3 by Hannah Boyd is good. Boyd is 3 of 6 from downtown. For a team that is only averaging 4 makes per game, they've already got that many in 10.5 minutes of game action. Audrey Wanji's first shot is no good. Hannah Wilson offensive rebound. Out to Torres for 3. No good, and Wanji hits the deck hard. She had the ball in her mitts and got knocked over. She'll head to the line for 2 shots. Third team foul on the visitors from Arkansas Fort Smith. Just about a 10-hour bus ride away here from San Antonio. And they won't give Audrey the free throws, but they will give St. Mary's the basketball. Inbounds to Soteria Banks, missed the 3, just got the backboard, that's it. She's off on her launch angle to start this game. 7:15 to play, traveling. Arkansas Fort Smith gives it back again. And, you know, there's been a couple of those moments where one team just tries to go a little too fast. They're expecting somebody to be there. Hasn't quite lined up the way they wanted to. And because of that, seeing some turnovers. They have been evident so far for Arkansas Fort Smith, but their lead is 12. They match their largest of this game as Bella Hughes in for the first time in the second quarter. Rattlers need to find their offense. Not a good start tonight, 3 of 20. Alexia Torres with it. Circling it back around. Arkansas Fort Smith playing really good defense. Hughes is open. Left corner for 3. It's no good. And the leading team in the conference through the first 9 games from beyond the arc has struggled mightily tonight. They have not hit one in 10 tries. Lions basketball. Right side with Campbell getting some minutes. Campbell out there, got a few players in some foul trouble. Lawley is on the bench. Goalie's playing with the fouls. 7 to shoot. Boyett gives it back out to Alexis Brown. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. Brown to the cup, inside of Wilson. Launches it too hard. Hughes has the rebound. Would have been a shot clock violation. Never hit the rim. The Rattlers get a stop. See if they can use some of that defense to turn into some offense as Torres spins and turns the ball over. And Jason Martin saying, settle down. All right, just got to settle it down a little bit. Rattlers 2-3 in the Lone Star Conference. They have 1 win in divisional play. Divisional play will come down, come seeding at the end of this regular season. Top 12 teams will be in the postseason. 18 for the Lone Star this year. Corner right, open 3 is up. That time an air ball from Hannah Boyett, the freshman. And St. Mary's takes over. Wilson grabs rebound number 7 already in this basketball game. Hannah Wilson might have a double-double by halftime at this rate. Banks bounces it off her foot. Hughes picks it up. Rattlers get a new possession. Trying to get people to move around. You can see Jason Martins is saying everybody's standing there waiting for somebody to make a play. Instead, the shot won't go from Mackenzie Piper. Offensive rebound on the putback. Hannah Wilson right there again, winning the one-on-one battle inside the lane. And Wilson is at 10. She gets a chance for an 11 from the free throw line. Well, 41 is playing well in white for St. Mary's. Trying to at least hold the ship together as everybody else tries to get their game in order. Wilson from the line is good. She's got 11 points, now 9 rebounds here in the first 14 minutes of action. Problem is, she's the only player that's really got it going. Soteria Banks, 2 points, 0 for 5. Piper and Hughes combined 0 for 4. Hardiman 0 for 4. I mean, you got to fix those zeros. Get them going in the other direction. Fort Smith looking for their first win in San Antonio since 2015 as Hughes pulls in the rebound off the missed shot, and Maya Culliver see what she can get going with this offensive set. Hughes holding at top of the key, looks to drive down the lane. The freshman deflected. Nice play underneath by Flaca Ortiz. The freshman out of Tulsa takes the ball away. Rattlers with giveaway number 8. 9-point game with 4:45 to play in this first half. First game in more than 2 weeks for both teams. As the three-pointer's up and in. How about Hannah Boyett, the freshman out of Muldrow, Oklahoma? 15 threes in the first 11 games. Tonight she's got 4. Good move by Piper down the lane, rejected away by Boyett. Great recovery by the freshman. Wilson block left, too strong, misses. And Ortiz has the rebound for Fort Smith, Arkansas. Rattlers on a tough run. They have missed their last, making 5 of their last 6 shots. Hannah Wilson's putback is the difference. 4 minutes to play in half number 1. Rattlers again down 12. Loose ball inside the paint as Banks picks it up. Wilson able to emerge out of there. Did a good job creating enough chaos to separate the ball away. Turnover number 10, by the way, from Arkansas Fort Smith. Banks off of her foot, picks it back up. Out to Maya Culliver, calling for a screen. Drives the baseline right, leans in awkwardly, shot no good. Rebound, Terry for Fort Smith. Rattlers are 4 of 24 from the field. You know, you look at it again from St. Mary's perspective, they're not shooting the ball well, but the defense is not bad. A couple of big threes have been the separation, as that one is off the bottom of the backboard by Campbell. Rattlers get another rebound. St. Mary's +3 in that category. That hasn't really affected them a whole lot, as Brown deflects the ball out of bounds, and we reach our media timeout of the second quarter. 25-13. St. Mary's trying to get their offense going. Their defense has been there, but so far tonight, it's been Fort Smith holding control. 3:05 to play in the second quarter, 25-13. Arkansas Fort Smith leading St. Mary's. Back after this timeout in the Lone Star Conference Network.
Set Storm Chaser to be rolling out with our new mobile weather station. Expect live storm tracking from both our studio and the road.
Expect updates and warnings straight from the storm.
And on KSAT.com. Streaming live. Protect your family with a new level of local team coverage. Your weather authority. KSAT 12 and the Storm Chaser. Expect more. Before the storm.
.05 to play here in this second quarter, 25-13. Arkansas Fort Smith leading. Andrew Stossmeister on behalf of our entire crew. Glad to be with you tonight. First game back here of 2020 for both of these two teams. Rattlers at 3-6 have hit 4 field goals in 25 attempts, and they turn it over for the 9th time. You know, for Jason Martins, he's kind of looking on going, I'm not happy. He's not been happy with the officials, but really he's more been unhappy with his team's play in this first 17 minutes. It has not been the kind of quality that he is used to seeing. And I'm sure halftime for both teams that will have a lot to say, but Coach Martin's arms folded, pacing down the sideline right now. Defense not bad. Give credit, again, Arkansas Fort Smith, 43%, but that's been the shooter, and she continues to stay hot. Hannah Boyett's got 15 already in this first half, and she's chasing numbers she has yet to see, but a great start for her on her 5th 3 of the game. Largest lead of the night, 15 points. Maya Culliver throwing it to Audrey Wanji. Got to pull Wilson out at some point. She's been the offense so far for St. Mary's. Meanwhile, the 15th foul is called, and Audrey will head to the line for 2 shots. She's out there with Barbosa, along with Soteria Banks, Maya Culliver, and Briley Perkins. Talk a lot about Soteria, 0 for 5 tonight, 0 for 2 from downtown. Not numbers she's used to putting up very often. Wanji's first free throw attempt is good. Rattlers are 6 of 8, make it 6 of 9 at the foul line. Got a chance at a couple of extras. Wanji with her first point of the night, ready for her second. Tosses up and good. Back to a 13-point game, 2:13 to play. If you're just stopping by, Rattlers fell behind 12-0 in the first 4.5 minutes, scored the next 5, but then went cold. They have just not been able to get anybody else going outside of Hannah Wilson. Wilson has 11 points and 10 rebounds, her second double-double of the year. Had one right before break against St. Ed's. Everybody else, you put that together without a made field goal tonight. .147 to play. Better defense on Boyd at that time. Job by Perkins as that shot is contested. It did not hit the rim. Shot clock violation. Good defense by St. Mary's. You know, Arkansas Fort Smith that time got a little bit too stuck in one play. It's been pretty simple for them. You know, you have a player coming off an open screen at the perimeter, and she's hitting those threes. You don't look to that second look as fast. 28-15 with 95 seconds to play. Perkins corner left with it. Out to Banks. Soteria, step back 3 on the left wing. Air ball. Barbosa, what an effort to try to save it. Maya Culliver grabs it in the backcourt, but that'll be a turnover. And you can look at it as Jason Martins just staring at Soteria Banks going, what's up? Having a difficult night, and I'm sure Coach Martins, he'll look at the numbers at halftime. He likes to study the analytics, but there's not going to be a lot of fun things to look at halftime for St. Mary's on the offensive side, as that foul is called on Jessica Barbosa, team foul number 3. Rattlers looking for their 4th win of the season. You know, we talk about conference play and how it works out and everything tonight. The biggest thing is that those wins will come into play when seeding comes around. Those still matter. And a 5-second call on senior Alexis Brown. And Coach Tyree Cummings not happy about that play. That's 11 turnovers. And you look at it on Brown, she's had a couple of those tonight. That's her 5th turnover. You can't have one of your seniors doing that if you're Arkansas Fort Smith. Still up 13, Torres with it. Rattlers outscored 11-8 here in the second quarter. 64 seconds to go. Banks has not scored from the field. Instead, it's worked down low. Barbosa's 2 won't go. Extra chance, offensive rebound. Torres with it. Alexia looking out as Christina Baker in for the first time. Sets an illegal screen. Turnover St. Mary's. That is their 10th of this first half. Coach Martin's trying to get something again going. We talked about it. Hannah Wilson is 4 of 7 from the field. Everybody else is 0 for 20. All things considered, if you get in down 11, right now it's at 13 points. You know, for St. Mary's, you're feeling much, much better than this thing could be. Arkansas Fort Smith, they've hit 6 threes in this first half. Ashanti Eden with it. Gives it to the foul line. Back to Campbell. Stolen away. Maya Culliver for St. Mary's. Behind her back at the midcourt line. Loses it right back to Eden. Good job by the freshman who was fouled trying to take it to the cup. And that's a veteran mistake right there from St. Mary's, Maya Culliver. Maya doesn't do that very often. And again, that to me just looks a little bit rusty from her. It happens again at times. Talked about it, 9 days away from basketball for these two teams. Free throw no good from Ashanti Eden. Fort Smith is 4 of 6 from the foul line. Eden 2 of 3. Second toss is good. She's got 3. Again, Boyd has done most of the damage. She's got 15 points on 5 of 9 shooting from behind the arc. 14-point game. Shot clock is off. Torres a chance to run one play. Coach Martins lets the play be known, and Baker another offensive foul. And Coach Martins is just saying, hey, we got to be better. Officials have been watching for those offensive screens tonight. And Coach Martin's kind of looking over, talking to his assistant, Coach Liz Boyd, and want to make sure she saw it. She did, but Christina Baker getting some minutes. She hasn't played a lot. This is her 8th game, but minutes are limited. She's got to be better off the bench, trying to help in that 5 spot. 3 seconds left, 2 seconds. Shot won't go underneath. It's free on the baseline, and the first half expires. Good half by Arkansas Fort Smith. They throw up 29 points. The Rattlers, outside of Hannah Wilson, do not make a shot. They're 4 of 27 from the field. At halftime, the UAFS Lions 29, St. Mary's 15. We'll take a timeout. We'll take a look at the conference scoreboard. Everybody back in action in 2020 here tonight. We'll talk about that. We'll also take a look at the first half stats on the other side. 29-15, Arkansas Fort Smith leading. This is Rattler basketball on the Lone Star Conference Network.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
A strong tradition of academic excellence, a commitment to community, and a rich history of athletic success, the Lone Star Conference has long been known as a leader in intercollegiate athletics. Now with 19 institutions that embody the best in college sports, the Lone Star Conference is the largest and most dynamic conference in NCAA Division II. 19 members strong, 19 members proud. This is the new Lone Star Conference.
We've been around for a while, and we know how to build a fresher pizza. A real pizza, one made with real fresh and real flavor. A pizza made with different toppings and the unique taste from our culture. And of course, a commitment to better, fresher dough and ingredients. We built a pizza culture where you can fill up on flavor without emptying your wallet. A culture that is quickly becoming the flavor of the neighborhood. Real fresh, real flavor. That's Pizza Patron.
Before the storm rolls in, expect the KSAT Storm Chaser to be rolling out. With our new mobile weather station, expect live storm tracking from both our studio and the road.
Expect updates and warnings straight from the storm.
And on KSAT.com, expect our roof cam to be streaming live. Protect your family with a new level of local team coverage. Your weather authority, KSAT 12 and the Storm Chaser. Expect more. Scams, corruption, cover-ups. KSAT's defenders don't just track down those at fault.
We do more. We hold them accountable.
Depend on the defenders to dig deeper, to ask the tough questions,
and to get the answers you deserve.
Was there ever a point where you started having concerns?
You are not a charitable organization.
Months of investigation.
We'll take it on.
Confronting the powerful.
We're there.
Facts matter, and San Antonio deserves the truth. Expect the defenders to hold them accountable.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves. Our vision, our heart, our drive to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
A strong tradition tradition of academic excellence, a commitment to community, and a rich history of athletic success, the Lone Star Conference has long been known as a leader in intercollegiate athletics. Now with 19 institutions that embody the best in college sports, the Lone Star Conference is the largest and most dynamic conference in NCAA Division II. 19 members strong, 19 members proud. This is the new Lone Star Conference.
We've been around for a while, and we know how to build a fresher pizza. A real pizza, one made with real fresh and real flavor. A pizza made with different toppings and the unique taste from our culture. And of course, a commitment to better, fresher dough and ingredients. We built a pizza culture where you can fill up on flavor without emptying your wallet. A culture that is quickly becoming the flavor of the neighborhood. Real fresh, real flavor. That's Pizza Patron.
Before the storm rolls in, expect the KSAT Storm Chaser to be rolling out. With our new mobile weather station, expect live storm tracking from both our studio and the road.
Expect updates and warnings straight from the storm.
And on KSAT.com, expect our roof cam to be streaming live. Protect your family with a new level of local team coverage. Your weather authority, KSAT 12 and the Storm Chaser. Expect more.
and a half minutes and did not score. So it's one of those things where you can see some positives. St. Mary's did some things, but Soteria Banks in the locker room right now with just 2 points. That's a hard thing. St. Mary's is trying to make that up. That's 20 points per game, the leading scorer in the Lone Star Conference. 29-15 is our halftime score. We'll take another break. When we come back, we'll take a look at what's going on around the Lone Star Conference. 14-point lead for Arkansas Fort Smith here in San Antonio. Back with more next on the Lone Star Conference Network.
A strong tradition of academic
That was weird.
excellence, a commitment to community, and a rich history of athletic success, the Lone Star Conference has long been known as a leader in intercollegiate athletics. Now with 19 institutions that embody the best in college sports, the Lone Star Conference is the largest and most dynamic conference in NCAA Division II. 19 members strong, 19 members proud. This is the new Lone Star Conference.
We've been around for a while, and we know how to build a fresher pizza. A real pizza, one made with real fresh and real flavor. A pizza made with different toppings and the unique taste from our culture. And of course, a commitment to better, fresher dough and ingredients. We built a pizza culture where you can fill up on flavor without emptying your wallet. A culture that is quickly becoming the flavor of the neighborhood. Real fresh, real flavor. That's Pizza Patron.
And we welcome you back to San Antonio. It is 29-15. The Rattlers in front. Andrew Stossmeister back on behalf of our entire crew. It's good to be with you here for the start of 2020. A lot of basketball underway here tonight. Let's go ahead and take a look at our league scoreboard with everything that's going on. On the other side, we're going to see them on Saturday. Coming up, Oklahoma Christian is visiting Austin. They're down 39-35 at halftime. Western New Mexico visiting Lubbock Christian tonight. They're down 20. Not many teams have won at Lubbock, especially on the women's side, over the last, I think, 4 seasons. I mean, you're talking defending national champs, so it's one thing there. But, I mean, that's a darn good team and always a hard place to win. Angelo State hosting UTPB tonight. They are up 18. They're underway in the third quarter. In our game, 29-15. Tarleton hosting Kingsville. Tarleton also another tough place to win. They're up big over Kingsville. They're up with 32 points. Cameron visiting Texas A&M Commerce. They're down 11 points at halftime. And then UT Tyler and Midwestern State also playing tonight. Texas Women's is hosting Texas A&M International. And then you got all the men's games. I mean, that's how exciting it is. It'll be like this going forward. You see everybody playing. Women will play 5:30 on Thursdays, and then they'll play again on Saturdays as things work out. It is a twin bill here tonight. Men are up next. We're looking forward to seeing what they put together as well. All right, we're about ready to go back to the court for the start of this third quarter. Rattlers, the number pretty big for them. 0 for 20 in that first half out with players not named Hannah Wilson. That has to improve if they want to have some better success come this third quarter. Final moments is Jason Martins for St. Mary's talking with his group in the huddle. On the other side, how about Terry Cummings? I mean, I think she said, hey, we got to be better. We think we got a pretty good basketball team. We have shown some abilities at time, but 12 turnovers, that's not the name of the game for them that they showed in the first 20 minutes of this game. Starting 5 on both sides back out there as Arkansas Ford Smith will get back out to start the second half. Ready to go? As Tamara Gully will put things back underway. 14-point game. The largest lead of the game was 15 a couple of times. That ball thrown underneath, and that's out of bounds. And for Arkansas Ford Smith, all Coach Cummings in her second year can do is sit down and watch, see if her team can find a way to recover. 29-15 our score. Just underway in the second half. Arkansas Fort Smith had the first 12 of this game. They have not won in San Antonio since 2015. Left side, Hannah Wilson. Again, a lot of the offense for St. Mary's at the beginning of this game. Where does she go? How about Sataria Banks? 0 for 6 from the field in this game. Has 2 points at the foul line. Torres, 6 to shoot. Alexia inside, no-look pass. Faked out her teammate. Instead, threw it right into the arms of Marshalla Lawley, who had 6 points in that first half. Also some foul trouble, a couple of fouls. Coach Martins, again, you see how long can he hold it together over there. He has been disappointed. up top goalie. Good lob pass inside, and the finish to Marshala Lally, the junior out of Kilgore, Texas. She started going really well when this game got underway, but got into foul trouble. Did not play much of the second quarter and went out midway through the first. So we'll see how much longer of a leash she is given here in period number 3. 1 minute and 10 seconds in. Soteria Banks gives it up. Sydney Hardiman. Hardiman down the lane, leans into the right. She's 0 for 5 tonight. Can't get that one to go. Good job by Deshelle Terry to fire that one up. And just as she looked like she had a pretty good look, the Rattlers were breaking away, looking to make something happen. Hey fans, don't forget you can shop East Bay for the latest brand name shoes, apparel, and more. Loyalty Club, plus 90-day returns and a fit promise guaranteed. Gear up your game today at eastbay.com. Torres, Banks, Hardiman, Wilson, and also Briley Perkins, the starting 5 for St. Mary's tonight. Tough go all the way around. Arkansas, Fort Smith averaging just 58 points a game coming in. Rattlers at 64. They got a long way to go to get there. Again, numbers tell you that they're going to make something happen. They average 9 threes a game. How about Soteria Banks the steal? Down court, jump stop on the right block. Shot is no good. And a rebound to Fort Smith. If you're Soteria, you got to at least get to the foul line right there. And that's what Coach Martins is saying. She kind of pulled up just a little bit. You know, for a shooter that's struggling, you got to get at least to the line. Maybe see the ball go in a few times and find that stroke from outside. 16 points, largest deficit of the game. Ball stolen away. Briley Perkins, stutter on the left wing. What a spin inside the lane. And she pushes one off the backboard and in. Maybe there's a chance for the freshman out of Houston to get things rolling. First bucket of the game for her. Brings it back to a 14-point game. 2.5 gone by, quarter number 3. Rattlers have not led in this game. Playing from behind. Boyett well covered this time by Hardiman. 15 in the first half. Alexis Brown holding it around the arc. Back to the left side. Terry fires, misses. Wilson the rebound. And she has a new season high 11 boards. She's already got a double-double tonight. Hannah's had a good game, but how hard do you push her here this evening? Oklahoma Christians here on Saturday. A couple of big games to start off 2020 is the freshman turning the ball over, redshirt freshman Sydney Hardiman. And again, sometimes you just look at it, you wonder, how does break affect some players? You never know with young players, the first time they've been here. You know, Sydney's one of those. We talk about Briley and Bella, you know, just kind of getting back in. It's just taking them, I'm sure, a little bit longer than Coach Martins would like it to be. 14-point game, 2 turnovers and 5 possessions in the second half to start for St. Mary's. Still within range, though. It's only a 14-point game. As Brown gets the ball away. If ever there, that was kind of one of those, I'm falling away, traveling, trying really hard not to. Officials give her a break as Hughes called for a foul. That time just got a little bit late, lackadaisical with the defense. And those are the things that, again, Coach Martin's saying, hey, we're going to foul. It's going to happen, but we have got, the effort's got to be there. And I think that's where both coaches are kind of looking at it going, the effort. You know, it's not that St. Mary's isn't hustling. You know, they've done some good things, but you can't let other people get around you on the court. 14-point game, it remains as Deshelle Terry misses that free throw. Arkansas Fort Smith, 69% as a team coming into this game. You know, statistically, through the first 11 games, Fort Smith is near the bottom third of most statistical categories for what that's worth. But tonight, they have played well. They're 6 of 13 from downtown. As here comes that trap on Soteria, trying to free it out. She finds her teammate Perkins. Over to Hughes, the freshman down the lane, kisses it off the window and knocks it in for 2 points. Nice job that time by Banks. Stayed calm with pressure in her face, found her young teammate Briley Perkins open, who cut it across to Bella Hughes, who was aggressive towards the rim. As we get a foul on the other end, it's on the Rattlers. And again, Coach Martins, who has not been pleased with the officiating tonight, yells his disapproval across the court. Team foul already number 4 on the Rattlers. That's the second on Briley Perkins on the evening. Inbounds for Fort Smith. They run the box play. They try to bounce it inside. Wilson, good defense. Can't grab the rebound, though. Fort Smith, new chance with Terry. Shot clock at 15. Alexis Brown to the foul line, takes the handoff. Brown runs into Wilson, pushes off. Her shot won't go. Her offensive rebound is trickling inside. Finally, Briley Perkins wrestled it away, and St. Mary's has it back. 5:40 to play. Arkansas Fort Smith has gone cold on offense as Banks drives and is fouled, and will head to the line for 2 shots. That's a good job right there by Soteria. Getting to the foul line. Again, we've talked about shots not falling for her yet. She's 0 for 7, but get to the line, see it go in a couple times. Good free throw shooter. As the first toss is up, and it is good. Soteria is 21 of 28 this season, 73% now. One more coming. She's got 3. Second free throw is no good, and Bella Hughes, good aggressive attack at the rim, but doesn't get to it, and ran in and banged pretty well into Tamara Gully, the 5'11 senior out of Richmond, Texas. Talking with Coach Tari Cummings about her recruiting plan. She's liked what she has seen, but, it's amazing. She goes year 1, everything's under fire for her. And just trying to get her players in. She was hired in July, so didn't get much of a recruiting class. But, honestly, she said, last year, Andrew, was kind of what I considered my first real class where I got to go out and scout some people. It's nothing against some of the sophomores that are on the roster, but there's only a few of them that are actually active. Leilani Cully is the one from Owasso, Oklahoma, who signed to play last year. Free throws at the line, a make and a miss, but an offensive rebound by Arkansas Fort Smith. They were on the wrong side of the rebounds in that first half. They've done a much better job to start here half number 2 in the first 4.5 minutes. Eden with it, called for a carry, and those are the youth moments that Coach Tari Cummings has had to go through more than she'd like to see in the first 11 and a half games of this 2019, now 2020 season. 13-point advantage for Arkansas Fort Smith. They are 4-7 overall. They have 1 Lone Star win. They have lost 4 in a row. We reach our media timeout of the third quarter, 33-20. Arkansas Fort Smith leading St. Mary's. We're back after this timeout on the Lone Star Conference Network.
Before the storm rolls in, expect the KSAT Storm Chaser to be rolling out with our new mobile weather station. Expect live storm tracking from both our studio and the road.
Expect updates and warnings straight from the storm.
And on KSAT.com, expect our roof cam to be streaming live. Protect your family with a new level of local team coverage. Your weather authority, KSAT 12 and the Storm Chaser. Expect more.
33 to play. We're in the third quarter. 13-point game between the Rattlers and the Arkansas Fort Smith Lions. Andrew Stossmeister back. Glad to have you with us. Rattlers have found a little bit of offense, but it's, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And when you're playing behind as many as 15 points, you just can't do that. And give a lot of credit. And I think Arkansas Fort Smith is playing pretty well. You can tell they're rebounding it much better here in this third quarter. That's allowed them to, I think, keep the double-digit advantage. Rattlers got to find it. The energy has not yet been matched. They don't like to be hustled on their own floor. Right now, they're getting out-hustled. Hey, fans, don't forget you can shop your style with Nike shoes for running, training, basketball, and more. Nike.com for the ultimate selection of shoes, clothing, and apparel. Free shipping for members plus free 30-day returns. Nike, just do it. Rattlers have not led in this basketball game. They are 3-6 on the year. St. Mary's, like we talked about, they've got 2 Lone Star victories, including one right before the break. This is the leading team in three-point shooting percentage coming in. I know it's a new year, a new game, but it's actually, you look at with what happened in the first 9 games, something's got to come back, I think, to the party. And for St. Mary's, you're not going to finish this game 0 for something. They're 0 for 11 from behind the arc. But they got to get back to what we've seen them do a lot. They average 9 made threes a game as Banks, good drive, is fouled. Shot will not count, but Soteria is fouled, and we'll head to the line as Alexis Brown absorbs the foul. That is her second. Team foul number 2. Not even in the act of shooting, was well before that. So Rattlers will have an inbounds as Briley Perkins tosses it in. Soteria working on that right side, bounces it off of her knee, but I think got hit. There was some contact, but Coach Tari Cummings saying, come on now, that was just incidental. I think she might have honestly had a point. Back-to-back fouls, though. As it works out on Deshelle Terry, her first personal foul. That's 3 team fouls now. As Bella Hughes fouled again, and the whistle goes 3 times in a matter of, 10 seconds? 12 seconds? Tell you, it has been called pretty tight most of the night. I think both teams have at times had trouble adjusting to that, but it has been consistent that way. And that foul is on Tamara Gully. And that becomes 4 on her, so she will have to sit at least the next probably 5 or 6 minutes. Hughes at the line, 2 shots. First one is up, no good. Bella is 6 of 13 in her first season in San Antonio. The Argyle, Texas native. Second toss is good. Hughes has 3 in this second half. Again, Rattlers led in large part in that first half by Hannah Wilson. Hannah has not scored yet here in the second half, but she's got a couple of rebounds. Her best rebounding game so far of the year, and that time trying to get around a screen, commits the foul. Hannah's second personal. As Soteria Banks comes out, we'll step away as well. Media timeout in this third quarter. 4:50 to play, 33-21. Arkansas Fort Smith still in front. This is Rattler basketball on the Lone Star Conference Network. .50 to play here in this third quarter. 12-point advantage right now to the visitors out of Arkansas Fort Smith, who traveled 10 hours yesterday to get here. Try to prepare for this Lone Star Conference game. The Rattlers are 2-3 in the Lone Star Conference, 1-0 in divisional play. Arkansas Fort Smith 1-4 in conference. This is a cross-divisional game for what that's worth. I know you start trying to break down these 3 pods. We've talked about it in depth at times, and you look at what counts, what really matters. And again, Lone Star Conference victories and losses will come into play when it comes to seeding, but you got to finish in the top half of your pod at the first sign of things. You win your pod, you're going to host a couple of games, at least in that first 2 rounds of the league tournament before everything moves forward. I believe to Dallas. 34-21 as the first free throw good from Brown. One more for her. Is up and is good. Almost fell across the line, but those are her first 2 points of the game. Today's game is brought to you by Star Shuttle and Charter, the exclusive transportation provider of Rattler Athletics. Star Shuttle and Charter, they go the distance for you. Wilson, block right, no good, but a foul. And Arkansas Fort Smith, a lot of reaching here in this third quarter. And, talked to Coach Martins before the game, and we talked a lot in depth about, hey, how do you feel about having the break, how do you overcome that? And he said, look, we just got to knock off the rust, and we hope that 10-hour bus ride comes into play, whether it's to start the game or the third quarter. He said it doesn't matter, but we hope that gives us a bit of an advantage. Wilson ready for the second free throw. Both free throws are good. And the Rattlers up to 8 points here in this third quarter. They've outscored Arkansas Fort Smith 8-6, but down 14 at halftime. Still got a long way to go. They have not hit a 3 yet in this game. They're 0 for 11. They've hit a lot of 3s in their time in their first 9.5 games, but 0 here tonight. Good move down low. That shot is left short by Campbell. Offensive rebound, and second effort is good. That's a great job out there, staying with it and finishing. Campbell staying with her shot and getting it to fall through. As Soteria Banks has a 3-on-2, but doesn't see where to go right away. Instead, backs it off. Driving baseline, leans in and throws it off the top of the backboard. Shot is not good. Arkansas Fort Smith has the rebound, and they're pointing, saying, hey, that shouldn't have counted. Keeps going anyway. 14-point lead, still a 14-point lead, and that'll be over the back. Good job by Alexia Torres. boxing out inside Larissa Campbell. The freshman tried to come over the back, and with 3:50 to go, it's a double bonus now each direction. That's the 15th foul on Arkansas Fort Smith. We talk about this is the 23rd meeting tonight. The meetings are split right down the middle. Each team has won 11 times. Arkansas Fort Smith won last year at home. Rattlers won here at Bill Greehey and also in the first round of the league tournament last season. Final year of the Heartland, they won in Tulsa. But again, all three meetings a year ago were not close. They were not within 10 points, none of them. Torres' first one is good. You get two automatically in the women's game. She misses the second. Rebound deflects, and Fort Smith has the board as that one is brought in by Hannah Boyett, who had pulled the ball away from Hannah Wilson, and Wilson got the brunt of that and is also called for the foul. Coach Martin's looking up. That's Hannah Wilson's third personal foul. It's a big one right now. Again, trying to look and see. We've seen Hannah have so many good halves, but you have to be careful on pushing that fitness level right away here after the basically 11-day break. Free throw is good. Both teams going to have their chances here in the last 3:48. Both are in the double bonus. Boyett, 16th point, now her 17th. She doesn't miss much from the line. In fact, she has yet to miss this season. She is 10 for 10. Token pressure on Torres. 15-point advantage, matches the largest of the night for Arkansas Fort Smith, trying to pick up a big road win and end a 4-game slide that concluded 2019. Banks for her first field goal of the game, still not going. Gets her own rebound. Out to Hughes, left wing for a three. No good. Torres deflects into the arms, though, of Larissa Campbell. Good job by Campbell to pull in the rebound. Rebounds now +2 for Arkansas Fort Smith. 39-24 with 3:11 to play. Both teams without much in the last 3.5 minutes offensively as Wilson nearly stole the ball away, couldn't hang on. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Fort Smith with 10 seconds on the shot clock. Barbosa and Wanji will check in. Out go Briley Perkins and Hannah Wilson. Maya Culliver is also going to come in as Bella Hughes checks out. Coach Martins again trying to sub and see what he can get going. Again, Hannah Wilson's got 13. You got a couple of others that have started to scratch the surface here in this third quarter, but it's been troublesome at best. That ball deflected, and there's a good defensive finish that time. Barbosa got in the lane and knocked the ball free. Turnover, Arkansas Fort Smith. Fort Smith with 6 turnovers now here in this third quarter. 39-24. Lions also looking for their first victory away from Fort Smith this season. I think this is a team that really has some possibilities in their future. Tari Cummings, I think, is going to be very good for this program. Back at her alma mater, spent a couple of years there before she went on and finished at Oklahoma State. She was a great basketball player. Turn of the decade. She understands this game well, and she's been coaching, was an assistant at Tulsa last, also spent a long time at Arkansas. So, gotten to see the higher levels, now trying to build a program of her own. Wanji out to Soteria Banks. Soteria back to Maya Culliver. Off a screen, overload left. Maya's got the court to work with, leans in, did not draw much of anything, and lost the basketball. Fort Smith takes over, pushing. Eden at the other end. The freshman, nice find outside of the corner right. Three-pointer is up and short, and Barbosa pulls it in for St. Mary's. Arkansas Fort Smith has struggled most of the season to shoot the ball consistently. Might have played a little bit ahead of themselves in the first 20 minutes tonight. They were strong from behind the arc. They were 6 of 12, but they're 0 for 3 here in the second half. Wanji, right block, out to Soteria Banks. Soteria's trying to find it. Her 10th shot won't go. She is 0 for 10 from the field. She's got 3 free throws. Contact at the other end by Maya Culliver, who's just frustrated. And Terry heading to the line for 2 shots. And that's, again, you look at it, Coach Martins, you can only do so much. A lot of head scratching between him and Coach Liz Boyd. Crystal Thomas is also there on the bench, a GA, I believe, this season, getting her first time away from the court. Finished her last year here pretty well. But I mean, those are the moments that you look at that you have to find a way right now. It's a free throw given back. Arkansas Fort Smith will get one more with Deshelle Terry, the junior out of Springdale, Arkansas. Left-handed toss is up. That one is good. Terry now 6 of 10 on the season. Arkansas Fort Smith going back to that pressure that gave St. Mary's trouble in the first quarter. Built a 12-0 lead in the first 4.5 minutes. Barbosa fakes right, goes left, and the shot is good. Nice move by the redshirt junior. 14-point game with 97 seconds to play in the third quarter. Rattlers have not led. There have not been any ties. Quite honestly, it hasn't been single digits for a while. Fort Smith, though, has not really been able to put a lid and finish this one off yet either. Nice feed inside the lane. Shot too strong that time by Cully. And the Rattlers will take over. Wanji the rebound. Torres the ball right now. Rattlers in white. Fort Smith in the navy is Torres. Trying to create some separation with Brown. Watches a foul get called. And again, with the officials, they're calling the game tight. You know, that's one of those plays that's a good job by the senior Alexia Torres, realizing, hey, they're calling it that way. I'm going to check it in and see if there's something called. That's the fourth personal foul called on Campbell, it looks like. And now the officials are looking on and trying to clarify the player. And now they're looking over. This foul should be on Alexis Brown. But I think they put up the wrong number. So Brown will pick up her fourth foul. See as they get that taken care of. 14-point game. Torres at the line for 2 automatically. Again, both teams in the bonus the last 4 minutes. Torres scores. That's her second point of the game. Again, both teams offensively have had trouble. Rattlers are 3 of 10 in the second half. Fort Smith is 2 of 10. Second free throw no good, and Wanji wins the 50-50 ball. New chance for St. Mary's. Could they get a 3? Barbosa, block right, good fake, goes to the cup and scores. 11-point game, 44 seconds to play in the third quarter. Rattlers with their second run of back-to-back hoops. No points for Fort Smith in their last 3.5 minutes from the field. Got a couple free throws. 40-29. Ashanti Eden with it. Eden working on Culliver. Drives behind the back to the foul line. Hucks one up. Does not look at the hoop. Shot doesn't go. Rebound deflected. It's still free. Players spin all over the place. Barbosa's got it and finds Maya Culliver, who gets away and is tripped and fouled. I'll tell you what, you love this reserve unit for Jason Martins. They have brought a little bit of a spark. They're hustling. You know, again, it hasn't been pretty, but you need to have that effort. And right now, the Rattlers have created some chances because of that. Arkansas Fort Smith now just 1 for their last 10. They have not hit a field goal in their last 4 minutes. And they're starting to work some people into some trouble with the foul game. Brown has gone out with 3 personal fouls. Goalie's on the bench with 4. Campbell and Brown each have 3. Culliver's free throw is good, so that's her first point of the new decade. Makes it a 10-point game. Rattlers with 7 in a row as Barbosa got knocked over in the lane and trampled on. Looks like 22's all right. Culliver will head out. Back in comes the freshman Briley Perkins. Good little surge right here for St. Mary's. Their best of the game by far. It's 7 in a row, 9-point game. Shot clock is off, 10 seconds to go in the third. Eden now running the point with Brown on the bench. Out wide, Terry for 3, no good. Barbosa the rebound. And a good 3 minutes for St. Mary's in quarter number 3. They score the last 8 of the third quarter. They go to the final period down 40-31. We'll take a 60-second timeout. 40-31, Arkansas Fort Smith leading the St. Mary's Rattlers. Back with more next on the Lone Star Conference Network. We've got 10 minutes to go in regulation. It's been a wild one so far in terms of kind of watching this thing seesaw back and forth, right? It's been one of those kind of games where the Rattlers play and chase. They go on an 8-0 run to finish off the third quarter. They get it back to a 9-point game, but can they hit a three? I mean, that's been the story of the game tonight. Can they hit that shot from behind the arc? They have struggled here tonight. Look at it. They are 0 for 12, a team that's averaged 9 makes per game coming into this one. 40-31 as we get set to go. Rattlers will have Soteria Banks out there along with Alexia Torres, Hannah Wilson. Jessica Barbosa, who's had a good stretch, stays out there, so she'll stay in as well. Let's see if the Rattlers can find it. They were 4 of 11 in that third quarter. They go back to Hannah Wilson, 11 points, 11 rebounds, and she scores. She's got 13. Good start by St. Mary's here in this fourth quarter. Again, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Jason Martin is trying to get his team to understand that. Again, it has really not been a pretty game from them, but Fort Smith, they haven't been able to put it away on their side as that air ball, no good. Great finish, though, inside by Marshala Lally. The junior is out there, but for Fort Smith, they got to keep their best players on the court. They've got several of them in foul trouble, including Gully, who's got 4, Campbell and Brown each have 3. But some of them limited at the end of that third quarter, some of them for the break as well, as Lolly hits the free throw. Lolly's got 9 points, and I think she's been a great compliment. You look at Boyd, who had 15 in the first half. She did a great job with her. But Boyd only 2 points in that second quarter. Missed her 2 3-point attempts. Both free throws are good. Back to a 9-point game. Again, you go back, Fort Smith has not hit a field goal in 5 minutes plus now. Banks doubled out to Torres. Alexia, bounce pass inside. Hannah Wilson, shot is up off the window, and it's good. Rattlers the closest they have been in some time. 7-point game, 9:05 to go. They were down 12-0 to open. They've trailed by as many as 16 here tonight. Eden with it, working right side with Terry. In front of second-year coach Terry Cummings. Sorry, Cummings, I beg your pardon. Pass underneath, and a good job by Marshala Lally. Great job on that right block. It didn't look the prettiest, but doesn't matter how it goes in, right? Make it happen. Torres, down court, down 9. Wide open inside the lane. Gets her player to miss and fires it up and in. The senior's got 4 points, and the Rattlers starting to find it. Again, you see that ball go in just a little. Have some life. Back to 7. 8:19 to play in the fourth. Rattlers looking for their 4th victory. Fort Smith trying to end a 4-game slide. Up top, Terry. Right side to Brown. Brown holding it high above her head. Fakes to her left. Out beyond the perimeter. Ortiz, who played some in that second quarter, sets the screen, rolls. They can't find her. Shot clock expires. Shot no good. Rebound is wrestled for. Lolly wins it and puts it up and in. Oh, what a great job inside that time by Marshala Lally, the Kilgore, Texas native. She has started this fourth quarter well with a couple of buckets. And a couple of points at the foul line. Has got a player down for Arkansas Fort Smith. Terry away from the play, went down. And the Rattlers not quite there with it. Barbosa late. And we'll see. I think we got a quick stop. Barbosa got called right there. And right now, Coach Martin's right there talking to Jessica about that play. They're going to review something on the monitor. Maybe see if that was an incidental contact or not. But Barbosa kind of grabbed on and pulled the chair. This might be flagrant as they view it. We're glad to have you with us from San Antonio tonight, 46-37. Women playing right now. Men will play a little bit later tonight. We'll have that for you 30 minutes following the conclusion of this one. Taking a look around the Lone Star Conference scoreboard, Angelo State has put it away against Texas Permian Basin at home tonight, up 40 in the fourth quarter. Lubbock well on route to their victory as well. They're up 20 points over Western New Mexico. St. Ed's and Oklahoma Christian with 2:53 to play in the fourth quarter. St. Ed's in front by 11 points. Tarleton about to beat Kingsville. They have been up big tonight by as many as 40 a couple of times as well. Commerce hosting Cameron. They lead by 14 with 5:17 to play in the fourth quarter. And then Tyler and Midwestern State playing tonight at the Harrington Patriot Center tonight in Tyler, Texas. No report on that one. Texas women's will host International coming up here at the top of the hour. And our game is 46-37. St. Mary's has not led tonight. Fort Smith has been up in this game multiple times. They've played it really at 13 to 15 points most of this game. And now Jennifer White, Mark Vera, and Rick Gower, the officials, all meeting to discuss this replay about a flagrant foul. We'll wait and see if we can get word on that. Officials decide there was nothing there that was flagrant. And they let both coaches know what's up, and we will resume play. Fort Smith will have the basketball. Again, keeping an eye out there. Hannah Boyd has had a big game, 17, but Lolly in the second half has been better. She's got 7 here in the second half and has her team out by 9. Quick three in the right corner, no good from Boyd. Rebound is fought for. It's still free. Wilson dives on the deck. It is tied up. And possession arrow will stay with Arkansas Fort Smith. Right now, Arkansas Fort Smith +1 rebounding. Rebounds have kind of gone back and forth. You know, it's been interesting talking to Coach Martins about that. Hey, how important is it? He said, look, it's always important. You know, we were +7 in that win over St. Ed's. I think that was big for them. You know, but some of the other games this season just hasn't affected that as a whole lot. You know, most teams will tell you out-rebound your opponent. Your number percentages go up with your chance to win. New shot clock to work with. Forced entry is up and good. Hannah Boyd, I think, kind of going, wow, that one went in. I didn't expect that one. She's having a big game tonight. 19 points. Rattlers with 7:05 to play, still trailing, now down 11 again. They got it down to 7. Wanji hands it off. Torres trying to find it down low to Hannah Wilson. Block right, throws it up, no good. Wanji wins the rebound, and a foul is called. Ortiz the foul, and Coach Cummings can't believe it. Tell you what, that ball was pretty low, and I think that's the argument from Fort Smith. Good job by Audrey, but most of the time you got to get that ball a little bit higher. Officials had to see something very clear to call the foul. As the lob comes in, Wilson chases it down. Again, officials have called this game tight, and that's exactly what happens right there as Ashanti Eden picks up the second team foul of this fourth quarter. Eden now with 3 personal fouls. I think 2, actually. 11-point game. Rattlers have not led. Alexia Torres running hard to her left, stops on the left wing, gives it up to Briley Perkins. Briley looking for something. Again, the team's leading scorer, Sateria Banks, has 3 tonight. And a traveling call on Audrey Wanji. And I'll tell you what, you know, Coach Martins, again, has done a good job, I think, trying to hold it together. He is fuming. You know, if you know Jason at all, he'll get into you. But he's being fair. He does a great job, I think, about holding his kids to a high standard, holding them accountable. Typically, they respond well. As that one is turned over, Perkins is on the ground, and she'll get back up. I don't know if, looks like Briley's okay, but took a bad spill. Another turnover, the 21st of the game on Fort Smith. Sateria Banks gives it out to Wanji. Another player slides and falls. Loose ball underneath. Wilson fouled to the line for 2 shots. Good job by Hannah Wilson. Continues to stay strong inside. Rebound number 12. Hannah's at 17 points tonight. First free throw toss is good. Rattlers coming in as a team at 66% from the line. They're better than that tonight. Up to 70%. Wilson misses number 19. Rebound underneath by Flacca Ortiz. And Fort Smith will have it with 5:55 to play, up 10. Eventually getting close is Coach Martin saying there was a 10-second call. He was right. He was jumping. Fort Smith was not across the line. Play clock was at 19. Hannah Wilson, meanwhile, takes the ball away. Rattlers again, you're playing behind double digits. You got to create an extra possession or two to get going. Wilson backs her way down, fakes left, spins right, shot won't go. Rebound underneath by Fort Smith. Lolly's got another one. That is her 10th rebound of the game. She has played real well tonight for Arkansas, Fort Smith. Fort Smith outscoring St. Mary's here in this fourth quarter, 8-7. Rattlers, though, have missed their last 4 shots. Eden running the point has done a good job with Brown on the bench. That shot doesn't go. Wanji, the missed shot, picks it up for St. Mary's, and Torres again looking up. Can St. Mary's get their offense going? It has been a tough night. They're 7 of 18 in the second half as Torres to the cup, lays it up and in. Great job by Alexia. Nobody rotated over for Fort Smith, and it's an 8-point game again. Timeout call by Fort Smith. We'll take a timeout as well. 30-second timeout. 48-40. Fort Smith leading St. Mary's. Back with more next on the Lone Star Conference Network.
Scams, corruption, cover-ups. KSAT's defenders don't just track down those at fault.
I'm talking to you right now.
Accountable.
I was actually going to get
on the
talk to you and
defenders
say, hey,
to
we rid
ask
of the
the
second.
tough questions.
We had any
And to
luck?
get the answers you deserve.
But was there ever a point
What's
where
up?
you started having concerns?
You are not
Oh, yeah,
a
it's still
charitable
back there.
organization.
Months of
It's very
investigation.
heavily
We'll
involved.
take it on.
Confronting the powerful.
We're there.
Facts matter, and San
All right.
Antonio deserves the truth. Expect the defenders to hold them accountable.
Fourth quarter, it's an 8-point game. Andrew Stossmeister back on behalf of our entire crew. Glad to have everybody with us as we resume basketball here in 2020. Rattlers have not led here tonight. It's 48-40. They have cut it back down to 7 and 8 a couple of times, but can they get any closer? Guys, I can hear everything you're saying. And for that perspective, you look at it from St. Mary's. How do you find a way? Your leading scorer has had really probably her worst game of the season. Soteria Banks, 3 points, 0 for 10. She's gotten to the foul line 4 times. But it's one of those deals that can they get her going? Rattlers have still gotten it back to 8 points without a 3 tonight. This is the leading team in the conference in made threes and three-point percentage for that matter. St. Mary's is a team hitting 37% from downtown. They're zip for 12 tonight. Got to amp the pressure up a little bit. Coach Martins has been waiting for that moment. He uses it right here. Try to see what he can do. Hannah Boyett, who's got 19 for the game, has just 4 in the second half. Alexis Brown back in. Gives it up to Ashante Eden. Now Lolly holding it. And that ball's out of bounds as Lolly thought she had the freshman Boyett running left, and they miss one another. Turnover, Arkansas Fort Smith. St. Mary's will have it back as Jason Martins calls time. We'll stay here with 4:26 to play. St. Mary's has had some nice moments tonight. In the second half specifically, went on an 8-0 run right before the end of the third quarter. Got it back to single digits, but again, if you just look at the law of averages, right? How often do we talk about that? St. Mary's should hit some threes. I mean, to go over is unheard of for them. I mean, it's just been one of those nights where they haven't been going. Soteria Banks, Maya Culliver have struggled. Sydney Hardiman has struggled. It happens sometimes. It's part of the game. It's can you find a way to overcome that? Jason Martin's group, they're fighting. You know, and I'm sure on Fort Smith's side, it's got to be somewhere along the lines of, okay, look, we've let them back into the game. We have been in control the whole time. We got to find a way to finish this thing. And they've had some chances on a couple of occasions. They just haven't been able to do it. That right now is certainly starting to appear to loom like it could come back into play. We talk about the Rattlers, and again, throughout this season, St. Mary's has hit no fewer than 5 threes in a game, folks. That was against Commerce. They got beat. That took one of their worst losses of the season back in Game 3 on November the 21st. 5 of 19. Tonight they're well past that, but a chance still with 4:26 to play. Perkins, Culliver, Banks, Wanji, and Wilson out there for the Rattlers in white. Arkansas Fort Smith on the court with Brown, Eden, Lawley, Campbell, and Boyett. Culliver with it, doubled, looking for somewhere to go. What a job by Ashanti Eden, who steals the ball away. Turnover, Culliver. That is her second of the game, and Maya's coming out. Torres coming back in, but Maya's just had a rough go at it here tonight. 48-40. And again, Coach Martin's looking on saying, hey, we're getting closer, just unable to break through. 3 team fouls out there for Fort Smith, 2 for St. Mary's with 4 minutes to play in the fourth. Foul away from the ball is Wanji and Banks. Both cut off the cutter through them. And they will whistle the third personal foul on Audrey Wanji. 48-40. Rattlers now with 3 players at 3 personal fouls. Fort Smith, that clock can't go fast enough for them. Brown taking her time, runs to the weak side, pivots it back around. Boyd is open, 3-pointer short. Torres the rebound. St. Mary's pushes. Can they collect? You know, those rebound and score on the other end, there have been few and far between tonight as Banks pushes off a little bit but creates separation for her first field goal in 11 tries. 6-point game, 3:25 to go in the fourth. Banks reaches in, can't get it. Eden to the cup, lays it up, missed it, and Wanji has the rebound. No points for Fort Smith in the last 4 minutes. 6-point game. Banks to the cup, drives, and the first one goes in. The second follows, and it's a 4-point game. Nobody back here for St. Mary's, and now Boyd will slow it up. She's waiting for her teammates. 4-point game. Jason Martins likes it. Timeout taken by Terry Cummings. And we'll step aside as well. 30-second timeout, 2:56 to play. We're in the fourth quarter, 48-44. Rattlers the closest they have been. We're back in 30 seconds on the Lone Star Conference Network.
A strong tradition of academic excellence, a commitment to community, and a rich history of athletic success, the Lone Star Conference has long been known as a leader in intercollegiate athletics.
I figured that
Now
was
with
funny that you guys are just letting me go free. I was
the
like,
best
what are you?
in college sports, the Lone Star Conference is the largest and most dynamic conference in NCAA Division II. 19 members strong, 19 members proud. This is the new Lone Star Conference.
$2:56 to play. We're in the fourth quarter. 4-point game. Closer to it has been since it was 4-0. Fort Smith opened the game on a 12-0 run. St. Mary's has been playing chase ever since as they get near another 5-second call. Already won tonight. 19 total turnovers officially for Fort Smith. Rattlers have 16, but only 4 in the second half. That's made a difference. St. Mary's in this fourth quarter finally getting their offense going. They've got 7 in a row in the last 3 minutes. That is over. Good job inside by Marshallo Lawley, who's had enough offense in this fourth quarter to keep Fort Smith ahead by a couple possessions. Rattlers need something. Banks finally got her first 2 field goals late in this fourth quarter. 3-pointer, no good. 0 for 13. Offensive rebound, Hannah Wilson. Her shot won't go. And Briley Perkins has another offensive rebound. She throws it to the feet of Torres. Good hands by Alexia. Now Wilson feeling a way out. Back to Wanji. 15-footer is good. And the Rattlers, with 2 minutes to go, are down 4. They have not led in this game. They have played pretty good defense. Fort Smith just 6 of 23 in the second half. They've had a difficult half, and they're trying to, play the 4 corners and space it out a little bit. Lawley hands it off. Boyd, pull up 2. Shot is no good. Players are down on the deck as Wanji hits the deck and has an awkward land on her knee. Audrey is in some pain as she tries to get up, but I think the officials called it to Fort Smith. I don't think they called a foul, but Audrey is again hunched over a little bit, had someone fall on top of her right knee. Both of them are braced up. Shot clock goes to 20 seconds. Fort Smith trying to flush it in underneath, and it's blocked away by Hannah Wilson as Brown hits the deck. Incidental contact, and a foul is called. Team foul number 4 on St. Mary's. You know, there was enough contact there, but there have been a couple of those tonight that both coaches, quite honestly, have cringed about. 20 back on the shot clock. 95 seconds to go in regulation, 4-point game. Rattlers have not played well offensively until this fourth quarter. They've got it going a little bit. Eden drives, shot won't go. Rebound is free. Wanji has it. She spins out of traffic and finds Soteria Banks, and the Rattlers have a chance to make it a 2-point game, maybe a 1-point game. Torres throws it behind Wilson. Good ball fake to the lane. The shot is up, no good. Rebound is knocked away by Wanji, but a foul is called with 63 seconds to go. Wilson got off her spot a little bit and didn't use the backboard, and Hannah loves to use it. Put Audrey Wanji in a tough spot. Wanji slapped to the ball and got a lot of the hand and picks up her 4th personal foul. 2 shots automatically at the other end. Arkansas Ford Smith tonight is 14 of 19 from the foul line. 2 automatically right here from Gully, who is 1 for 2. Boyett and Lawley have done most of the work on offense. They've combined for 35 of the 50. Free throw is no good. One more coming for the senior, Tamara Gully, out of Richmond, Texas. Right-handed toss is good. 5-point game with 63 seconds to go. Arkansas Fort Smith is going to pressure. Can the freshman out there handle it? Perkins down the left sideline, gets a screen from Wilson. That's a lot of contact as Wanji was wide open, was not looking to the hoop. She had a free lane as instead a 3-pointer is blocked out of bounds. Good hustle by Boyett, but that's one of those plays for Jason Martin saying, hey, we got to just look to score. Got to be aggressive. Wanji's got a free layup. Everybody, I think, here but her saw it. She was looking at us. 48 seconds to go. Down 5. Perkins gets it into Banks. Soteria's had a rough night. Looking for that stutter step instead of dangerous pass is lobbed in. It is stolen. Now Wanji's got it. Possession arrow in favor of St. Mary's, and St. Mary's will keep possession. They've only got 4 seconds on the shot clock. Jason Martins is going to ask for a timeout as the officials discuss something. I think over there, Rick Gower is going, hey, wait a minute, guys. We got to talk about this. Instead, it's a 30-second timeout. We'll stay right here. St. Mary's has 1 left. Arkansas Fort Smith has 2. If you're just stopping by, Rattlers are down 14 points at halftime. In that first half, only Hannah Wilson hit field goals. The rest of the team was 0 for 20. They have improved in the second half. They are 11 of 26. They have done some nice things, and we've seen some possibilities. The defense in the end of the third quarter where St. Mary's went on a 7-0 run that got them back into this game. They have an opportunity. It hasn't been pretty, but at least they have an opportunity here with 37.3 seconds to play. Don't forget, we've got the men's game that is coming up next, so stick around for that. We'll have about a 30-second break in between with what is going on. 5-point game. Rattlers have the ball right now. They've got 4 on the shot clock. That's something they'll have to deal with right here. Echo, guys. And with 37.3 seconds to deal with, Jason Martin needs a good play right here. Normally you draw this up easily to Soteria Banks. 2 of 12, 0 for 3 from downtown. Wanji has 4. Perkins is 2. Barbosa and Hughes have combined for 7. It'll be Perkins to inbound it. Wilson, Wanji, Torres, and Banks out there on the court as a foul is called on Alexis Brown, and Brown will pick up her 4th foul. Coach Cummings can't believe it. It wasn't a lot of contact, but I think they're either between Soteria Banks running an awkward angle and the other side. It's only the 4th team foul of the quarter. 37.3 to go. Hughes Inbounds over to Banks, who draws contact. Shot is no good, and a foul is called as Hannah Boyett, trying to play defense, got smacked out there by Soteria Banks. Third personal foul on Boyett. Soteria heads to the line for 2 shots. Well, the Rattlers created the opportunity, and they'll get 2 free throws. Banks' first is good. Soteria is 4 of 5 at the line tonight. Most of her points have come there. The leading scorer in the conference at 21 points a game. Only player to be at 20 or more. Misses the second. Wanji's got the offensive rebound. 32 seconds left. Soteria Banks with it. 4-point game. Soteria drives, leans in. There's contact. Shot is no good, but a foul is called. And some of the Fort Smith fans that have made the long journey are not pleased with that foul call, as the night is going to conclude on Gully. No points, 6 rebounds, and 5 fouls. Still walking to the bench with her hands up. She got bumped. That was a good job by Soteria Banks. You know, there have been some that, again, the game has been called tight. It's frustrating, certainly, I'm sure, for coaches, but it's been consistent that way the whole time tonight. Closest the Rattlers have been all night. 3-point game, they're down. Trailed by as many as 16. 2-point game. The shot clock is off. Timeout is called by Tari Cummings. We stay here this time. 51-49. Rattlers outscoring Arkansas Fort Smith here in this second half. It's been good to see the surge. They've got 34 in the second half to 22 on the other side to bring it all the way back. Arkansas Fort Smith, I think, has been really conservative here in this fourth quarter specifically. They will have 1 timeout left. Rattlers, they have said, have 2. But again, Fort Smith, 6 of 26 shooting here in the second half. The Rattlers, in contrast, in that first half, they were 6 for 24. Hannah Wilson was the only player to hit field goals in that first half. Really struggled, but they have got it turned around a little bit. They're 11 of 26 shooting here in this second half are St. Mary's. They're going to have to foul. Both teams are into the bonus unless you get a steal. Who's going to guard the inbounds? Nobody. Ball comes in to Brown, who is bumped by Torres, and Martin's hoping to free one up, and now you play for a miss. St. Mary's, again, we talked about it, the best shooting team from beyond the perimeter coming into the game is 0 for 14. Can they overcome that somehow? Can they get 1? Averaging 9 makes per game. Alexis Brown to the line, gets 2 free throws. She is 2 for 2 tonight. 19 of 22 on the season. As the officials looking on. And I think they're checking on the clock. They're going to put 25 on it. 25.3 it looks like is what they will go with. And so they adjust that. Brown is ready. She will shoot 2 free throws. Fans, don't forget, we've got the men's game coming up. Have a 30-minute break in between and then fire things back up as the first free throw by Brown is good. As they say, here's the one that matters. 3-point game. Brown's got 3 points tonight. Second toss is up, and it is good. Jason Martin's asking where he wants the ball. It'll go over here to our right with 25.3 seconds to play. Rattlers trying to pick up win number 4, a third Lone Star victory. Again, this is a cross-divisional matchup. These two teams are not in the same pod. St. Mary's is in pod 2. Fort Smith is in pod number 3. Final scores to report to you on the women's side. Lubbock Christian defeats Western New Mexico 64-40. St. Ed's a final over Oklahoma Christian 79-66. Tarleton over Kingsville 81-38. And then just getting underway, International is in Dallas. Denton, to be specific, against Texas Women's 15-11 early on in the first quarter. UT Tyler and Midwestern State are also underway. Men's games will be coming up a little bit later on tonight. Everybody in conference is playing here this evening, so it's a busy schedule. We'll continue to follow that here throughout the night. Rattlers are down 4. They have it right now. Sydney Hardiman checks in. They give it to Soteria Banks. 23 seconds. Soteria gets a screen from Wilson. Stutters down the lane, leans in with a right hand. Shot is up, no good, and a foul is called. And Soteria Banks back to the free throw line for 2 chances. Got her on the right side of the head. Did Arkansas Fort Smith. Lolly picks up that foul. And that is her 4th personal foul. Fort Smith is not one away from home this season. Trying to change that here tonight. Free throw from Banks is good as she crosses double figures. Again, 7 free throws tonight. Hit her first 2 field goals here in this 4th quarter, more than halfway through. Second one is no good. Rebound, Fort Smith. Ball comes out. Eden's got it. Breakaway in a 3-point game. Lays it up. It's good. 12.8 seconds left. What a job by the freshman Ashanti Eden, understanding what to do. Banks with 6 seconds, 5 seconds, drives. There's contact, no foul. And it's a 3-point game with 4.3 seconds left. And Jason Martins just looks down at the floor, unhappy with what just transpired. Rattlers don't get the rebound. Nobody collects Ashanti Eden, who breaks the other direction and scores. That's a great job by the freshman. That's her first field goal of the basketball game. And now you have to force this turnover right away. Rattlers will be out of timeouts. Arkansas Fort Smith has 1 left. A couple of big plays here in this game. Boyett has had a season best game with 5 threes. She's got 19 points. Lolly's got 16 points and 10 rebounds, a double-double. St. Mary's has gotten a great contribution from Hannah Wilson, 18 points and 14 rebounds, season high in both categories. Second double-double of the year, but right now the Rattlers look for a turnover. Men in the corner awaiting their chance. See Coach Bubba Meyer over there in the corner, hanging out. He's got his Spurs t-shirt on tonight. A lot of fans watching basketball. Here as the decade starts. St. Mary's looking for a little magic. Got to find a way to turn over Fort Smith. They have given it up 19 times, but not at all in the last 3 minutes. Rattlers will defend the court. Brown comes free and is fouled immediately. 3.5 seconds to go. Brown has not missed a free throw. Only player to not miss outside of Boyett, who has put up 2 tries. And a chance right here for Alexis Brown to seal it for the Lions. 3-point game. No timeouts left for St. Mary's as the free throw is up and good. One more coming. Brown with 5. Now has 5 in the 4th quarter. 57-52, 2 seconds left as Banks, will she get a shot off? She will. 3-pointers up, no good. And fitting that that's the way that the game finishes. Rattlers go 0 for 15 from downtown tonight. And the Fort Smith Lions, great job by them coming into San Antonio, picking up a road victory. They pick up their 5th win of the season, their 2nd Lone Star Conference victory. St. Mary's falls to 3-7. They are 2-4 in Lone Star Conference play. They're back here on Saturday. Take on Oklahoma Christian at 2 o'clock. We'll have that game for you on the Lone Star Conference Network. We talked about it. Hannah Wilson, 18 points, 14 rebounds, a highlight for her tonight. But the Rattlers zip for 15 from behind the arc, a team that came in averaging 9 makes per game. They had not made fewer than 5 coming in. They have a goose egg here tonight. 30 minutes, we'll have the next game for you between St. Mary's and Arkansas Fort Smith on the men's side. Boyett, big game for her on the other side. Give her a shout out to her as well. I thought she played really well in the first half. Hannah Boyett hit 5 threes in this basketball game, finishing with the team best 19 points. Lolly also had a really nice game with 16 points and 10 rebounds for the double-double. Final score from San Antonio, 57-52. Rattlers fall to Arkansas Fort Smith. The Lions are now 5-7, 2-4 in the Lone Star Conference. St. Mary's falls to 3-7, 2-4 in the Lone Star Conference. We will have Jason Martins on at halftime to discuss this one, so stick around for that. In the meantime, we'll take a quick break. We'll get reset, get you back here for the men's game next. This has been Rattler Basketball on the Lone Star Conference Network.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field.